Alright, so I wrote this. Whether I type it up or not, I don't think I'm going to. It's just a little... I watched a movie, and I thought it was really fucking good, and I had some thoughts on it. It kind of extends from issue as its own escape, in a sense, because I make the same analogy as, Kim Wexler and Jimmy McGill in Better Call Saul, but, it's different. So, I think this one lends more towards the, song Wormboy by Marilyn Manson, which is like, oh no, I am all the things they say I am, oh no, he is everything that thing from Wormboy. So it's like, anyway, so here's what I said. The Goldfinch, 2019, portrays the body keeps the score concept in an incredible mixed montage fashion, telling the story of a boy named Theo, whose mother died in the bombing of an art museum he and she briefly stopped to look through before meeting with a school official on the report of his apparent smoking in the bathroom. Needless to say, that meeting never occurred. Though his mother wasn't his only parent, it is made clear that his father is both absent to Theo and his now deceased wife. An alcoholic who disappears and leaves Theo to be taken in by a wealthy family who he went to school with the children of, almost fully integrating into. Then his father shows up back with a new wife right at the moment he's about to, that consummation of being, integrated into this family is almost obtained, via a trip to Maine. And so, taken from developing comfort to a dead-end town in the middle of the Texas desert, he meets Boris on the bus home from his new school, a Ukrainian immigrant played by Finn Wolfhard, with his own dead mother. The two instantaneously click and, in typical fashion, become practically inseparable. Boris takes to vice. Boris, being the child of an abusive, of an often absent parent as well, takes to vices and introduces Theo to said substances. Typically, it amounted to cigarettes and alcohol, though while on their own on Thanksgiving, after what's really the longest moment of dialogue and interaction between Theo and his new stepmother, Boris crushes up some of her Vicodin, and they snort it, and then they, in the night, sitting by the pool before jumping in, and then it cuts to sort of the, after that they fall asleep, and it shows Boris comforting Theo through, a bout of nightly terrors, which is essentially PTSD from the explosion, like, he's reliving it, it's a nice scene, it's a really nice scene, but quickly thereafter, Theo's life implodes even more again. His father, is unable to swindle some $65,000 from Theo's education fund left by his mother, heavily relapses into alcohol and dies in a car wreck. Now, Theo comes home to this after having taken a tab of LSD Boris acquired to learn the fact, and, they're trying to act normal, so it's like, we're not, they're trying to make it seem like they're not on LSD, but something, it does have a little snare, leading to the statement from his stepmother upon noticing, who certainly noticed, because he started giggling so much, and commenting he's essentially his father through and through, Wormboy. Anyway, so, realizing his time is up at that house, Theo quickly packs and calls a cab to take him to a bus back to New York, urging Boris to come with him. In an intense instance, he has to go on his own due to Boris having some minor preoccupation, and quickly, Boris kisses Theo and promises to follow suit in a few days. So, and how long they're truly separated from that point isn't exactly delegated to the audience. His stepmother's statement shows true constantly, however, using substances to get by the day and day, hiding it well enough to even be temporarily engaged to a woman who was actually the daughter of the family who had taken him in temporarily after the explosion, and his father had up and disappeared. It was not a long-lasting relationship, however. Boris still present though, but seemingly he handled his own baggage a bit better than Theo, who remains haunted by history, the ghosts of his own life, leading to an attempted overdose, solely prevented by Boris's intervention before it fully took his life. So, undoubtedly the two fed off one another in some form, and while the instance of the kiss is the lone example on that level of things, their relationship is clearly a deep bond, intimate even if not physically or directly. And so to make an analogy, it's similar to the relationship between Kim Wexler and Jimmy McGill in Better Call Saul. The care and support is there, but takes its form in tolls. You know, the marriage of Jimmy and Kim concludes shortly after the death of Howard Hamlin in their living room by Lalo Salamanca. And so Kim leaves so as to prevent things from slipping even more drastically and further from that harrowing incident. And that's where the comparison diverges, because though Kim visits Jimmy in prison after the final fallout of the events of Breaking Bad, they do not feed in the same way in spite of sharing a smoke like the days of old. Boris and Theo, however, remain seemingly connected for better or worse, and what happens in the postscript is really up to personal perception. And that's what I wrote on this. It's a really good movie. I'm not gonna type this up. I don't feel like typing this up. I like the movie, and I like that I wrote this, but I'm basically just geeking out over this movie. It's a fucking amazing movie. It made me cry. That was a really fucking good movie. Like, holy fucking shit. It directly connects to the thing I wrote, issue is its own escape, in a way, and it reminds me of things. It's interesting, because it's like I can almost sense, I almost feel like I lived what Boris and Theo did, as children. Like, that was fucking last year. That was last fucking year for me. What the fuck? You know, it's like, you know, it's a really good movie. And it's amazing. And I remember I saw the previews for it whenever it was gonna come into theaters back in 2019. Like, I remember I went to see, I think it was It Chapter 2. And then, then I didn't end up seeing it because I was in 8th grade, and, you know, it's kind of hard for an 8th grader to get into a rated R movie without, you know, shit, but I am glad I didn't see it then, and that I saw it now so I could have the understanding so much better to the show, because if I saw it then, I would probably hated it and thought it was, like, confusing as fucking boring, but it was so beautiful. It was a really good film. And I shared it to Shane Bugbee, and I do want to hear his thoughts on it. I'm gonna call him later today, and I want to see his thoughts on it, because he said he thought it was great, and that's not something to take lightly from him, because I've sent him other shit before and he's not liked it at all. But that is such a good movie. I bet it's kind of similar to the movie. I think it's similar. It's similar to the movie Precious, in a way. So I think that's probably why he liked it. And holy shit, Precious, that's a fucking, holy fuck. Anyway, before I start rambling about an even more insanely depressing movie, I'm not gonna continue.